everybody, how's it going? Ventus Arashi here today with a brand new playthrough for the channel. This time around is a continuation of the Kingdom Hearts Darkseeker saga, and that is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. Now, I'm actually a fan of this game, and I enjoy it. I mean, the gameplay and combat could be a little wonky at times, but I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the characters, etc. So, that's the entry in the franchise I'm going to be doing today. Sorry for the stammering and stuttering. I'm a little rusty when it comes to voiceovers. I've been on break from YouTube and recording, for all that matter, for the better part of 2 months. I was supposed to be back beginning of January 2024, but things kept happening in real life. Work was tiring, etc. And I finally met somebody, so she's great, and we're continuing things, and, you know, I'm just enjoying life in real life. But now it's time to get back and do this. So, as always, I'm going to be playing this on critical mode. I'm probably going to hate myself in the beginning for it, but this way I can unlock the secret endings and the secret episodes without having to complete every last one of the report entries in the game, which I've done before in my previous save files. Even though I didn't have to, I was bored, but, you know, it is what it is. So, critical mode. Can't change modes later. Choose carefully. Yes. Vibration function for the controller will be on. To skip the introduction? Hell no. This will give you a basic jeez, what am I saying? This will give you a basic intro to the characters, combat, etc. So no, I'm not skipping this. For the other two characters that I play, I will be. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't picked up a Kingdom Hearts game or played one in a very long time. So, apologies if I'm a little rusty, but, you know, it happens. Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep. Now, apologies for the audio being muted at this point in the game. The Planet B remix of Simple and Clean by Utada Hikaru, or Hikaru, what am I saying, is playing right now, and I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. But yeah, so if you remember this cinematic from the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, you'll recognize that these three characters, one who looks exactly like Roxas, were the armored Keyblade warriors at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix in both the I think it was called Sunset Horizons cinematic and the Birth by Sleep cinematic. So yeah, a lot of things have happened since I last played these games, so I'm kind of forgetting various parts of the story, but, you know, it is what it is. He's running from darkness, it seems. And he's running from light or fire, something. And she's left alone. Now, I knew I was going to say something, but it just slipped my mind, so I'm just going to have to make do. Hopefully, I'll remember it as I play it. Kingdom Key and the Soul Eater Wingblade. Now, this game has been out for a hot minute, so even just in case there are people who haven't seen this gameplay before, I'll try to avoid spoilers as best I can, but I make no promises. And Sora and Riku as kids. On the Destiny Islands. Back again. Even though the break was nice that I've had, I'm glad to be recording again. I've missed doing this, honestly.
This world is just too small.
And I'm assuming that's him, as an older person.
There, you see, an empty world, like a prison. I imagine you will be right at home.
Now, the old man is voiced by none other than the acting legend, the late Leonard Nimoy. For those who don't know, Leonard was famous for portraying Spock in the original Star Trek franchise. But this was not my first introduction to Nimoy. Hey, where am I?
Who's there?
And I absolutely love the life that Nimoy brings to this character. This is one of my favorite roles he's ever been in, period. He just, I guess because of the raspiness of his voice and the sound, he just brings the right amount of cunning and sinister to this role, and I love it. And come to think of it, this is the first Star Trek actor that we've seen in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, if I'm not mistaken. And the boy who looks exactly like Roxas, you'll notice his eyes are all glazed over. He has no pupil. I'm a brand new heart.
But this is... Why are you in my heart?
The light brought me. I saw it shining in the distance, and followed it here.
Yeah. That was my light. But my heart is fractured. And now, the little I have left is slipping away.
Then you should join your heart with mine.
Huh?
Sorry. Now our hearts have touched. Nothing else will slip away. And one day, you'll be strong enough to win back the part that already did.
Right. Thanks.
And evidently... Oh, it's time to wake up now. All we need to do is...
Open the door.
And evidently, this installment is set 10 years before the event of Kingdom Hearts 1. Now this boy, who looks exactly like Roxas, you'll notice he sounds identical too. He has the same voice actor, Jesse McCartney. He's waking up.
Ah, a Keyblade.
Now this Keyblade, the Wayward Wind, is the signature weapon of this kid. It actually, oddly enough, is one of my favorite Keyblade designs out there, just because of how unique it is. It's similar to the Kingdom Key, but also drastically different. His heart being fractured also explains why he has no pupil. Now, as much as I love the story in this game and the interactions among the characters, I will say this, there are some things in Kingdom Hearts 2 that got retconned in this game. And those will be shown in later episodes. It's like a different version of Roxas's room. Dreaming of the past, were you?
A meteor shower.
Now you'll notice his personality is also drastically different from Roxas's. Roxas was way more serious and I guess almost burned out. Land of Departure. I don't know if Roxas's personality was more burned out or if he was just tired. But he was more serious, more tired, more angry, temperamental. He could have a good laugh, but he just acted like he was over everything or just plain confused. This kid is a lot more like Sora in nature. He's very cheerful, smiley, over-the-top exaggerative with his delivery on lines, you know. He reminds me a lot of Sora.
Can't see much from here.
Okay, now the tutorial, which I desperately need considering that I haven't played this game in a while. Press the options button to view controls, head for the summit. Left stick is to walk and run, circles to jump, right stick is to rotate the camera. Tap R3 to recenter the camera. Head for the summit. Woo! Can't dodge roll yet.
I've got time to spare.
Okay. Press X to attack the ring. Keep attacking to string together a powerful combo. Now you'll notice, this is the reason why this Keyblade, the Wayward Wind, is designed the way it is. This kid holds his Keyblade in reverse.
Yeah.
You can earn prizes by defeating enemies or hitting things in the field. Green prizes restore HP, yellow ones give you money. Your command deck contains special moves. Use up and down on the D-pad or L2 and R2 to select one, then press triangle to use it once its gauge is filled.
What? You want a piece of me too?
Now, some people have been mixed on this, but I actually like the command deck, so that way you don't have to wait for the MP bar to refill. So that way you can stack as much of the same kind of spells or whatnot, as long as you have space up, which is really handy. I like it. I also like the mechanics of this right now, where you can just cycle through with L2 or R2, and then use up and down to the D-pad. With a newer installment, which is Dream Drop Distance, shuffling through your commands gets a little more tricky. I don't know what it was about it, but it just was not executed well.
Yeah. Come on.
Strike raid. Quick blitz. I think I can lock on with, nope.
Win.
There we go. You can lock, oh, there we go. So you can lock onto targets so that the camera automatically keeps them in view. Lock on by tapping R1. So they won't let you get ahead of yourself in this case.
Win.
Gotcha. Once you're locked on, you can switch targets using L1 or tap R1 to exit the lock-on. Okay. Open the treasure chests. Walk up. Oop, wrong button. Now this is different. This will take me a bit to get used to because I'm used to hitting triangle, so I have to hit X to open now. Sliding dash. You found the sliding dash command. Press options to open the main menu where you can install it in your command deck.
Wait, what am I messing around here for? I'm gonna miss the meteor shower.
Okay, quick edit there. Sorry about that. I had to take care of some things around the house. But anyway, I'm going to be heading for the summit now. Run up the path instead of jumping. So I got to remember, jump is circle, not X as I'm used to. There we go. Not going to lie.
Wow.
I wouldn't mind living in a place like this, but I will admit it probably would get boring after a while. I gotta keep doing things, you know, not just stay in one place for too long. I'm always on the move.
Why does it seem so familiar?
10 years later, for someone else, that will seem familiar. Especially when the next scene rolls around.
Whoa! Give me a break, Aqua.
Ven, you hopeless sleepyhead. You know, you should have at least brought a blanket.
But did I dream that place up? It really felt like I'd been there before, looking up at the stars.
She just rubs his hair.
Except you've always lived here with us.
Unlike Kyrie, who outright smacked Sora.
I know. Hey, Aqua.
Hmm?
You ever wonder what stars are? Where light comes from?
Well, they say.
That every star up there is another world.
Huh?
Terra.
Yep. Hard to believe there are so many worlds out there besides our own. The light is their hearts. And it's shining down on us like a million lanterns.
What? I don't get it.
In other words, they're just like you, Ven.
What does that mean?
You'll find out someday, I'm sure.
I want to know now.
You're too young to know now.
Quit treating me like a kid.
Hey, what are you laughing at?
I can't help it. You two would make the weirdest brothers.
Huh?
Like, sorry, Ven, but I'm gonna have to agree with Terra on this one. Compared to all of them, you are a kid. Well, they're not actually that much older than him, but to me, they're all kids. Except for Terra, maybe. Terra is probably like, I want to say 18 or so. He's the oldest.
Yeah. Terra, you and I have our Mark of Mastery exams tomorrow. I made us good luck charms.
Whoa.
Here.
I get one too?
Of course. One for each of us.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there, there's this tree with star-shaped fruit.
Palpu.
And the fruit represents an unbreakable connection. So as long as you and your friends carry good luck charms shaped like it, nothing can ever drive you apart. You will always find your way back to each other. Technically, I think you're supposed to make them with seashells.
Yep.
But I did the best with what I had.
Boy, sometimes you are such a girl.
What do you mean sometimes?
What do you mean sometimes?
Forgot about
so
that.
this isn't a real good luck charm?
Well, that's yet to be seen. But I did work a little magic on it.
Really? What?
An unbreakable connection.
Obtained. Wayfinder. One of the 3 good luck charms, or one of 3, there's no the in there, geez, Ventus, read, One of 3 good luck charms Aqua made for herself and her friends the day before the Mark of Mastery exam. Alright. Borrow your friend's powers. The Wayfinder allows you to dimension link or D-link with friends and borrow their powers. You will meet lots of characters throughout the story that you can D-link with.
Well, tomorrow's the exam. Anybody want to spar?
I can take you.
This HP gauge represents your health. Run out of HP or health points and you will be defeated. Use square to defend yourself. Press it while moving to slide. Now, square is to block and slide is to evade, like a quick dash away or dodge. Now, each character has their own version of the dodge. Ventus has a dodge roll, which is not me, the character on screen. He has, so for the sake of not confusing us, I'm just going to refer to him as Ven and myself as Ventus. So, Ven has a dodge roll, which is my preferred dodge of choice. Aqua has a cartwheel, jeez. And Terra just dashes, or press square while holding still to block. Like this.
Quit going easy on him. You're not gonna win unless you stay on the offensive.
Depending on the situation, I guess. Rope-a-dope somebody, but anyway. This command gauge fills when your attacks hit enemies. If you go a few seconds without landing an attack, it will start to drain. Once you've filled the gauge all the way, you can devastate opponents with the powerful finish command. Keep hitting Ven to fill up your command gauge. Then use finish. Finish him! Using triangle commands instead of regular attacks to fill the command gauge may cause you to change command styles. Command styles make your regular X attacks much more powerful. Which command style you get depends on the commands you used to fill the gauge. You will unlock more as you progress. Some command styles are tricky to activate. Try all kinds of command combinations. I really don't like it when OBS does that.
Well, that works fine if you're fighting one-on-one. But you need to know how to handle a crowd, too.
Use your shot lock command to hit lots of enemies at once. Hold down R1 and a big target circle will appear. Use the left stick to point the circle at one or more enemies and lock on multiple times. While still holding R1, press X to use your shot lock, which hits enemies as many times as you locked on. This is one of my favorite mechanics in the entire franchise. The shot lock can be really broken, but it only works in certain situations, let's put it that way. Shot lock attacks require focus. This focus gauge will drain when you use them.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
Choose a character for this fight. Terra, Ventus, Aqua. I'm going to go with Terra, considering I'm going to be using him for the first go-around. I need to get used to his combat again.
Take that!
Finish her!
It comes with experience.
Okay. Want to spar again? No thanks, I want to move on.
Trust me, you guys are ready. You're gonna clean up at the exam tomorrow.
I hope it's that easy.
It's like the Master said. Power is born within the heart. When the time is right, you just need to look inside yourself, and you'll find it there.
Power is born with the heart, or within the heart. During your travels, you can find new strength by playing on the command board. this is one mechanic that I feel is hit or miss. It's not terrible, but if you want to get all the commands, including shot locks and other things, you are forced to play the command board, and that is one mechanic that most people do not care for. I mean, certain command boards aren't bad, but the later ones are a nightmare to deal with. Thankfully, to unlock the, I guess you could say the Mirage Arena command boards, you only have to play one, and then you start, progressing. Benefit of the Mirage Arena ones is you can also set the amount of players that you have as opponents, so that's very helpful. Unfortunately, yeah, certain things are not fun with this, so yeah. In this game, you roll the dice and power up your commands as you make your way along the board. You can access the command boards at save points or on the map. The commands in your command deck become your game pieces, and you can also obtain new commands.
Oh, you don't want to lose track of stuff that's happened.
Move into the circle of light and press X to save your progress. Touching the circle fully restores HP. Open the save menu. There we go. Save. Okay, so these are all the other ones that I've done beforehand. I'm just gonna save on this. Yes, overwrite. That'll be my new save file for the rest of the game, I guess you could say. So yeah. Land of departure access. Okay, back.
Hey, we're gonna head back.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to ask. So, for question of the day, which is your favorite installment in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and why? Mine is Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Kingdom Hearts 2 was my first introduction to the game, or the franchise as a whole, and for me, it's the most fun to play.
Together. Always.
Favorite mechanic in that game are still the drive forms. Playing with two Keyblades can be really fun.
That would be the last night we ever spent beneath the same stars.
Yep, at least not for a while anyway. Mickey. Now, once again, Mickey is voiced by Brett Iwan, who replaced the late Wayne Allwine.
Mickey, I cannot shake the feeling something terrible is about to transpire.
Instincts serve correct. Okay, the character selection. So in order to complete this game, you have to play through the entire story with each individual character. In this game, you choose one character at a time and complete his or her story from start to finish. Each character visits different places and meets different people, and only by finishing all three stories will you uncover this tale's deeper truths. Now it says complete here on all three because I've done these in previous save files, but, you know, I'm going to be starting brand new save files for them anyway. Terra. A disciplined young man who feels compelled to find greater strength. He relies on brute force in combat. I like Terra's power, but not how slow he is. Ventus, an outgoing and inquisitive boy who holds his Keyblade backhand, or in reverse. Quick attacks are his forte? I don't know how that's pronounced, but anyway. That's more my playstyle, but back to Ven in a second. Aqua, a kind young woman whose sense of right and wrong never wavers. She is nimble and a gifted mage. Now, she's my second favorite character to play at, but I will say this, I do like Terra's physical power a little better than hers. Now, I don't know if Terra's voice actor, Jason Doring, has had any other credits. I couldn't really find out. But eagle-eyed fan and sharp-eared fans of DC Comics should recognize Aqua's voice actress, Willa Holland. Willa is probably one of her more famous roles, I guess you could say, was when she played Thea Queen, aka Speedy, in the CW series Arrow. And of course, everyone is familiar with Ven's voice actor, Jesse McCartney. Alright, quick edit there, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. OBS has just been very temperamental today. It's been crashing on me multiple times. I don't know what the problem is right now. Some days it's great and it doesn't crash on me a single time. Others, it just basically says, screw you, I'm gonna make your life hell. So yeah, probably time for me to get a new capture card when I can afford one. But anyway, on the note of this character that you see on the screen, to avoid confusion between myself and him, it's time for my origin story. Basically how Ventus Arashi came to be. There's a timestamp on screen and in the description below to give people an option to skip through this and get back to the gameplay, so basically they don't have to sit around and listen to me ramble about myself. But anyway, long story short, I've had an affinity for the element of wind/air since I was a teenager. That stems from my previous interests that go even further back. I've also had an affinity for the color blue, specifically azure-esque and royal shades, since I was a little boy. Then, when I was 12, The Incredibles came out in 2004, I watched it in theaters and was mesmerized by 10-year-old Dash super speeding his way through the forest. I had already seen great feats of strength in my own home, particularly from my father and younger brother, so super speed was a rare sight for me. So, as a result, that became my favorite superpower. Speedsters also have limited control over air/wind by extension, such as moving fast enough to create gusts of wind or even tornadoes. The Flash was already my favorite DC character for this reason, with Superman right behind him, but I wasn't a huge fan of his red suit back then. Then, at 16, I was formally introduced to Sonic the Hedgehog, and he quickly became my favorite speedster at the time because he was fast, was blue, had a ridiculously similar personality to myself, including food preferences, aka chili dogs, and was described as being like the wind by both himself and by others. A few years later, I was introduced to the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that further cemented my liking of aerokinesis or air manipulation. So the culmination of these things prompted me to look up various words for wind in other languages since I had an assignment due for school and was trying to make a character based on myself. The problem was I did not wish to use my own name to do so, given that my government first name, my given name, is difficult for people to remember for some reason. I mean, what am I saying for some reason? I know why. Like, thanks, Mom. But anyway, the Japanese word for wind is kaze, but that didn't quite fit, so I started looking through other languages. The Spanish word for wind is viento. The Italian one is vento. So I noted the similarities, so I got curious and looked up their root. Both languages, Italian and Spanish, come from a group called Romance languages. There are 5 major ones spoken, but there are more lesser-known ones as well, but these are the 5 standouts: Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Romanian. And contrary to popular belief, they have absolutely nothing to do with love or affection. The name stems from its origin, Vulgar Latin, which is essentially non-formal Latin spoken by people of the late Roman Republic and onward. Now, the term romance seems to have come from the Vulgar Latin adverb romanize. I think it's romanize, romanique, I really don't know how to pronounce that, but which means in Roman, essentially making Romance languages Roman speak. Anyway, back to the main topic. Ventus is the Latin word for wind, and the word stuck with me. And from that point on, that was the name I used whenever I wrote a character based on myself, either for assignments or for fun. The funniest part about that whole thing was I had no idea that a Kingdom Hearts character of the same name had gotten released earlier that year, since I didn't own a console or a game system at the time. And when I found out about Ven here, that further cemented my affinity with that name. Don't get me wrong, Ven is not my favorite character in the Kingdom Hearts franchise just because of our shared name. Favorite character designations go to Riku of Kingdom Hearts 2 and onward, and Roxas, since their personalities are more like mine is now. So I like the name more than the character associated with it. Same thing goes for the name Noctis, which is Latin for night. Ventus is in classical Latin is also pronounced with a W instead of a hard V sound. But most, if not all, languages derived from Latin do not preserve that pronunciation, so I didn't bother with it. And evidently, neither did Disney or Square. Plus, Evangelical Latin's pronunciations later on down the line, in combination with American Latin even later, they did use a hard V sound. So that's what I went with anyway. Now, Arashi came about because my best friend was writing a story and created a character that was basically myself in feudal Japan. Coming up with the clan name, we decided to go with Arashi. Arashi is the Japanese word for storm, and oddly enough has an identical kanji to kaze, except that it has a three-pronged crown hovering above it, as you can see on screen. They're identical except for that difference alone. So the English translation of my YouTube username and every other fictional character I've written and created from that point onward literally means windstorm. So that's how Ventus Arashi came to be. And honestly, I've been very tempted to change my name to that legally, as my actual name is a mouthful. Anyway, history lesson on myself aside, as I've stated earlier in the episode, to avoid confusion between myself and this character, I will refer to myself as Ventus and this character as Ven. So I'm going to be playing as Terra first. I'm going to move down the line in order. Terra, Ven, Aqua. Now Terra, which should be pretty obvious, is Latin for earth, but normally that's a female name. But it actually is one of those interesting names where it could go either way. You know, it's not too masculine, it's not too feminine, it's right in the middle, which is good. Aqua is Latin for water. So yeah. Anyway, so Terra aside. Play as Terra, yes. This is one of my favorite tracks in the entire series. And there's the old man.
Today you will be examined for the mark of mastery. Not one, but two of the Keyblade's chosen stand here as candidates. But this is neither a competition nor a battle for supremacy. Not a test of wills, but a test of heart. Both of you may prevail, or neither. But I am sure our guest, Master Xehanort, did not travel all this way to see our youngest prospects in years fall short of the mark. I trust you are ready.
Yes.
Then let the examination begin.
Now, their master should also sound familiar to people. He is voiced by the acting legend and, I guess you could say, Star Wars acting legend, Mark Hamill. Mark was famous in the Star Wars franchise for playing Luke Skywalker, but he's also famous in the animated world for voicing villains. His breakthrough animated role...
Don't worry about me. You two focus on the exam.
But Ven, you're in danger here. Go wait in your room.
He's capable.
No way. I've been looking forward to this. Seeing you two become masters. I'm not gonna miss it now.
He can take care of himself. He's been out there training just as hard as us.
Yeah.
Stay sharp, Ven.
Alright. Destroy the Orbs of Light, corrupted by Xehanort. And that name should ring familiar. Anyway, so, as I was saying, Mark's breakthrough animated role was the Joker in Batman the Animated Series that was released in 1992, I believe. Now, the problem is I can do a spot-on impression of Mark's version of the Joker. The problem is if I try to do the Joker's laugh, which is probably the most iconic part about it on screen, the thing is, the microphone will cut out because evidently my pitch or the volume is too high for the software to take, and I can't do it. So, hello, Gotham! Joker's back in town! That's pretty much the only sample. Yeah. But anyway, Mark is also famous for voicing a bunch of other animated characters, both good and bad, but he has a penchant for voicing the villains. He also did Fire Lord Ozai in Avatar The Last Airbender too. So that's another fun fact about him. Okay, changing command styles. If you fill up the command gauge by at least partly using deck commands, you will sometimes change command styles. The command style you get depends on how many and which deck commands you used. So, Firestorm, I believe, is it can be used by all three characters, but Fever Pitch is exclusive to Ven.
That was unexpected. But one must keep a still heart even in the most trying of circumstances. It was an excellent test, one I chose to let unfold. Which brings us to your next trial. Now, Terra and Aqua, the two of you will face each other in combat. Remember, there are no winners, only truths. For when equal powers clash, their nature is revealed. Begin!
Close match. One thing I did notice about Keyblade wielders with their fighting stances is their weapons are always aimed towards their backs. And the darkness comes out. And of course, Master Xehanort takes note of that. My fighting stance is my weapon is always aimed towards my front, at the opponent.
We have deliberated and reached a decision. Terra, Aqua, you both performed commendably. However, only Aqua has shown the mark of mastery. Terra, you failed to keep the darkness within you sufficiently in check. But there is always next time. That is all. Aqua, as our newest Keyblade Master, you are entitled to certain knowledge. Please wait here for further instruction.
Hey.
Terra, I'm sorry.
The darkness. Where did it come from?
It's in all of us, man.
What do you make of Ventus?
He ain't gonna cut it. Somebody's gotta break that loser in.
Not here, you won't. I have to keep up appearances.
I know that. He just needs a little incentive to leave home.
Now this guy in the mask is voiced by Haley Joel Osment, Sora's voice actor.
Sorry. But I need some time alone.
Which makes sense considering that this is how Haley naturally sounds,
There's darkness within me.
or close to it.
So what does that matter? I know I'm strong enough to hold it back.
Yes. You are indeed strong. The darkness is nothing to fear.
Master Xehanort.
And yet, how frustrating that Eraqus refutes its power. Why, you could train with him forever, and still, you'd never be a master in his eyes.
But why? Help me understand, Master Xehanort. What is it that I failed to learn?
You're fine as you are. Darkness cannot be destroyed. It can only be channeled.
Yes.
Planting the seeds
you,
of
Master.
doubt in him already. And slowly turning him to his side. This is like Anakin Skywalker 2.0.
What happened?
I don't know. Why isn't Ven here?
Very well, then. I will send my pupils to investigate. Yes, I understand. Farewell. That was my dear old friend Yen Sid. As you know, he is master no more, but he still keeps a close eye on the tides of light and darkness. His counsel serves as signposts on the road we wielders of the Keyblade must walk. All the more reason then for concern, for he tells me the princesses of heart are in danger, not only from the forces of darkness, as you may assume, but also from a new threat, one that feeds on negativity. Fledgling emotions that have taken monster form. Yen Sid calls them the Unversed.
The heartless replacement.
As wielders of the Keyblade, you are tasked with striking down any who would upset the balance of light and darkness. The Unversed are no exception. I tried to pass this news on to Master Xehanort, but my repeated attempts to reach him have failed. I doubt there is any connection, and yet this all troubles me.
Master Xehanort is gone?
So here we are. I need you two to get this situation under control. Eliminate the Unversed, and find Master Xehanort. I have unlocked the lanes between. You may use these forbidden pathways to travel between this world and countless others. The darkness looms closer than usual within these spaces, but your armor will protect you. Lastly, remember that order must be kept. You cannot tell anyone there are other worlds.
Yep.
Now go, and fulfill your duty.
Yes, Master.
Terra, consider this an opportunity. A second chance for you to change my mind.
What?
You must know, I care for you like my own son. If I could have my way, I would name you Master in a second. But how can I, when you are so obsessed with power?
Just like Skywalker.
Terra, you mustn't be afraid of losing. Fear leads to obsession with power, and obsession beckons the darkness. You must never forget.
Thank you, Master.
What was it that Yoda said?
I swear, I will not fail you again.
Like, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. That is oddly similar to that.
It's okay.
Off he goes. And that armor should look familiar for anyone who's ever played Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And this is the game that introduces the Keyblade transformations officially. Well, actually, technically Kingdom Hearts 2 did with the Lingering Will fight, or 2 Final Mix, but yeah. Anyway, but that's how they get from world to world. Instead of the gummy ships, they turn their Keyblades into gliders and go like that. So, forge the D-Link with Ventus. How D-Linking works. While D-Linked, you can use other characters' commands. Press right on the D-pad to open your list of D-Links. This D-Link gauge will drain as long as you remain linked. When the gauge runs out, your link will be broken. D-Linking fully restores your HP, kind of like how the drive form does when you first activate it. Refill the gauge by collecting these D-Link prizes. Defeating enemies while D-Linked may cause them to drop special emblems. Collect the emblems to power up the D-Link, and gain new skills and abilities as a result. Forge a D-Link with Aqua. Unlock the command board for the Land of Departure. And there is only one world available. And I believe that one is called Enchanted Dominion, if memory serves me well. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm going to call it for today. OBS has been a royal pain in my butt. I don't know what's going on, but I need to get this sorted out pronto, or else I'm going to be forced to use the PlayStation software to record any and all future episodes from here on out. So it's at this point that I'm going to stop the episode. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Later.